You're not going to want to miss this episode of the AI Show. We talk all about what's new in Azure AI Foundry, August 2025 edition with my friend Marco. Make sure you tune in. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the AI Show. We're talking all about what's new in Azure AI Foundry, August 2025 edition. We've got a packed episode today. New models, new APIs, new tools, and yes, more acronyms than you can shake a YAML file at. If you're a developer or leading a dev team, you'll want to stick around because this month's Azure AI Foundry has dropped some serious updates that could save you time, money, and probably a few gray hairs. Sorry, Marco. These are the jokes, right?
Any gray hairs on my head, man.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't have any. All right. We covered this last month, but the chatter hasn't died down. So let's cover it again. GPT-5. I feel like the joke should be one model to rule them all. I'm so a nerd. I'm such a nerd.
It's not one model.
I know, but the truth is it's actually four models. Just like you said, GPT-5, GPT-5 Chat, GPT-5 Mini, and GPT-5 Nano. What's interesting is that they're not just bigger, better, faster. They're really tuned for different developer scenarios. Help us out there.
Yeah, it's built for longer horizon reasoning. I mean, these models, this family of models has a much bigger context window than any GPT that came before. So these have 272,000 tokens of input context. So you can feed them a lot more data on the way in, and they have 128,000 tokens on the output side over there. So this can do a lot more analysis, research than their predecessors. The chat one, GPT-5 Chat, is made for like conversational and multimodal interactive kind of assistance.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, this is great. But sorry, were you going to say more?
Well, I mean, I could tell you that there are also those mini and nano ones, and that's all about speed and cost efficiency. So those are fast and small, and they get it done. Well, I say the models are small; they still have that 272K token input context.
So I love this. Basically, you can pick the right tool for the job without burning cycles or without having to do overkill because you can choose the right model for the right job. And the model router now supports GPT-5. Is that correct?
Yeah, right. So this is a thing that I think people have come to know about the new GPT-5 family of models is that we also support this model router. So you don't necessarily have to choose which model to use at a given time. There exists now this model router that you can use. It's limited access right now, but it's going to be more widely available soon, that will choose based on the incoming workload. Ooh, which one of these models should I use? Should I use GPT-5 full or chat, or should I use mini or nano? So that router will choose for you.
And that's amazing because now I don't have to have the analysis paralysis or a switch statement or an if else that branches in my code to pick the right model. It does it for me everywhere. So developers rejoice. All right, let's talk about Pixel's Black Forest Lab models. FLUX.1 Kontext Pro and FLUX.1 Pro are now in Azure AI Foundry direct from Azure. This is so cool because it's not just a raw generative art. Kontext lets you edit in context. And we had an episode on this a little bit ago. Tell us a little bit about that.
I love it. So I was able to use these Flux models before they came generally available in Azure. And I tell you, these things are crazy. I mean, the new image generation models in general are pretty intense, but these things, they're super fast. So these models, well, Flux Context, you could do text to image. You can also do in context editing. So you can kind of edit part of an image and kind of tweak some of the details, but preserve some other parts of it. The speed, though, is the thing. I mean, it does this stuff just like that. So, when I first got to look at it, I was hanging out with one of my coworkers, Piyush Mangalik. Mm-hmm. Within 3 seconds, I had made a NASCAR with Piyush Mangalik's name on it, just like that. It's unbelievable.
And it can go pretty high, right? It's not just like small images.
No, it can go up to 1024 by 1024. So it can do some pretty decent size. And it also goes up to, I think, 1736 by 1024. So it can do a really widescreen image as well.
And there's a demo I did, if you remember at Build, where it generates some images. I'm going to repurpose to use this actual model because it's probably going to be a lot faster. I mean, I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So the thing I like about this also is not just for my demos. Obviously, all of these models aren't just for Seth. although it feels like it sometimes. But this unlocks some great enterprise scenarios like marketing teams spinning up seasonal product shots, digital twin simulations for engineers, even accelerating creative pipelines, and devs don't have to wrangle GPUs. Just hit the Foundry API and go. It's really that simple. All right, now OCR. Let's talk about OCR because we want to go back to 1996. No, but it's really important. But half the time, like when you do OCR,
yeah,
you end up with like broken tables and lost formatting. But Mistral Document AI looks like a step forward. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so our friends at Mistral have put up this document AI model that is able to parse these documents. And so you can run it in a serverless way in Foundry. So again, you don't have to provision the GPUs or any of that stuff. You could just run it, and it's layout aware. And so that means that, if it sees a table, for example, then it can actually interpret that as a table and return it to you as a table, not just random, stuff all over the place. And so it'll give you good, clean JSON or Markdown that you can use, and that you can use to populate downstream agents also with data that it's grabbing from forms and stuff.
And that's awesome, man. And the other thing is like it's also I hear, but correct me, that it has multilingual support. So now the characters in other languages aren't going to come out like little boxes, right?
That's right. I think it speaks almost as many languages as you do, Seth.
Well, I know one or two. So, Les, why is this table now 4 pages of gibberish boxes and more reliable data extraction? Good news for everyone wrangling PDFs, amongst other things. All right, on the creative side, Sora got some love as well. Image to video and in painting now available under global standard in East US 2 and Sweden Central. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, it's kind of what you just said, right? You can give it an image and it will generate a video from that image. So previously, when you give it some text and say, make me a video of this thing, but now you can actually give it an image and say, make me a video out of this image. And you can actually edit also specific areas of the output video and say, okay, I kind of want those clouds to go like this behind here, or even individual frames. You can say, okay, at this point in the video, I'd like it to go a different direction. And so you get a little more control over the creative pipeline with this.
This is amazing. I'll finally be able to make my cat the star of a cyberpunk anime series. I mean, this is something that, I've been talking to you about this secretly forever. Now everybody knows. But again, this is just for research, right? I mean, let's be honest. All right, agents also got a boost. Browser automation in public preview. This is neat because it's not pixel clicking only, because this is what it used to be. It's now DOM aware. Tell us about that.
That's right. So the way that this thing works, browser automation is a tool that you can now use in Foundry agents. And it uses the same tools that accessibility has brought to us, things that like screen readers use to read the page. So the DOM, is the structure of the page. And so it uses that to interact with the page in a headless manner. So it doesn't have to literally render the page and like actually click on it, as you may have seen from other computer use agents. It can do it headlessly and in a more automated fashion. It runs in your Azure subscription. It uses Playwright. You may know Playwright. So you don't actually have to manage, a browser and have literally a Chrome browser in a VM or any of that stuff. So it's just a little easier way to have your agent do browser use tasks.
And I and you and I have talked about this. Computer use agents kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies before, but now in terms of automation, like there are certain tasks that we just like point, click, name, fit. It's like now I'm starting to see the light of it, of having agents be able to do this a little bit. So instead of spending 2 days fixing brittle Selenium scripts, every time someone moves a button, you get a stable DOM-driven flow for automation, which is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a replacement for RPA. Let's be honest with each other.
Yeah.
Like it's, you're still going to use Selenium, you're still going to use RPA, things like that. But there are many cases where if you expect that page to be rapidly changing or whatever, and you want it to be able to adapt to it, this is the tool that you need.
Amazing. So tell us about agent service. Is it in more regions? Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we basically added agent service now in 4 new regions. And so now we have 17 different regions all around the world where the Foundry agent service is available. So we're bringing it to more and more parts of the world.
All right, let's talk APIs because I'm a dev, right? And you are too. The Responses API is now GA. For developers, this really simplifies building multi-turn tool using agents. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, basically the Responses API, and some of you may have seen my own demo with the computer use agent that's embedded into the Responses API. That's one of the tools that the Responses API has. So the Responses API can maintain state. It has multiple tools built into it for things like searching and computer use and stuff like that. So you can stitch these tool calls together. It supports structured and unstructured outputs. And it's in Azure Foundry, so it scales with Azure security and our compliance and those sorts of things.
Yeah, I need to look into it because I'm still using the chat APIs. I feel like I'm getting enough push. It's like, hey Seth, you need to take a look at this. Are you pushing me to use that too? Is it better? Worse?
Yeah, it's like, look at it as like the chat API
Okay.
plus. It's like the next iteration of the chat API. And at its base, I mean, you can use it in a manner that it doesn't preserve state and stuff like that. You can use it as a sort of an enhanced chat API, but you also have these additional things that you can
I love
make
it.
yourself.
It's like one of those less glue code, more features kind of updates. Kind of a big win. All right, moving on. Finally, the platform side. August updates across Python, .NET, Java, JavaScript, TypeScript, SDKs, plus the new status dashboard, live cycle guidance, updated quotas, tracing observability. Basically, a lot of polish for developers. Is that right?
Absolutely. And I love Foundry Local, and I got to tell you, I recently, just 2 weeks ago, I wrote myself a brand new project with Foundry Local, and man, that went easily. I tell you, the Foundry Local team, they nailed it, and they just added gpt-oss to it. So gpt-oss is a model that you can run locally. I did run it on this laptop itself.
Is it pretty fast? Is it pretty fast? I mean, just you spitballing here.
I mean, on this laptop, this laptop doesn't have all that much GRAM. I mean, in general, we recommend that you have a computer with a GPU with like 16 gigabytes of VRAM on the GPU. Mine has like 8, and I got it to run anyway. Not the fastest in the world, but it got there, right? And I was able to run it.
I have a 4080. I have a 4080, so that I might actually be able to run a lot of experiments local using Foundry Local, because local inference on my dev machine is awesome. I mean, like literally think of all the local hackathon projects you can do sans internet. Well, I don't know if I can do anything without the internet anymore. All right. So to recap, the GPT-5 family with freeform tool calling, smarter routing, enterprise-ready image and document models, new video capabilities, browser automation for agents, GA responses API, and a ton of platform polish. Is that right?
All of this is designed to help you go from demo to production fast and easily without too many headaches.
Really what we're after. Thanks for joining, Marco. And thank you so much for watching. We're learning all about what's new in Azure AI Foundry August 2025 edition. Make sure to check out the blog so you can see all of the new stuff in there. And again, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care.